For each commencement ceremony, one graduate is chosen to speak on behalf of the graduating class. The graduate chosen for this ceremony is Ms. Ramona Sheppard, who is receiving her Master of Science in Geography from the College of Arts and Sciences. Ms. Sheppard has achieved great academic success during her student career. She is a member of the International Geographic Honor Society, Gamma Theta Upsilon. She has received the Robert Mendelsohn Graduate Student in Geography Award, participated in the study abroad program traveling to Beijing, China, and today she graduates with outstanding academic accomplishments in the master's program. Ms. Sheppard has also been highly involved in the community, boasting an impressive record of volunteer and work experience. She has worked with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, with AmeriCorps, with the Edwardsville Watershed Nature Center, and the Buncombe Road Food Pantry. Ms. Sheppard, it is a pleasure to welcome you as the student speaker representing the graduating class for the fall of 2011.
Thank you, Chancellor Vandegrift, Provost Boyle, and Dean Weinberg for asking me to speak today. I'd also like to thank the family that I have here with me for their support. My mother, my two aunts, my big brother, and his son, my nephew. Most importantly, I would like to thank my son, Alexander, for providing the motivation that I needed 15 years ago to return to school, and for allowing me to feed him Chinese takeout more often than I care to admit. On behalf of all of the graduates, I would like to thank the friends, family, and members of the faculty that are here today for their support through the years as we have endeavored to attain our degrees. We thank our friends for buying us a beer when that important presentation didn't go quite as we planned. For our family, for making sure we were well stocked with frozen pizza and ramen noodles for finals week. And finally, the faculty, for providing encouragement when we thought we surely wouldn't make that deadline, and offering tough love when we didn't. To be honest, when asked to speak today, my first thought was, how the heck am I ever going to speak to all of those people, and what am I going to say? Well, I will tell you right now, everyone thinks you will do splendidly, and lots of people have advice on topics when asked. The best advice I received was to return to the university's values. So I did just that, but of course, I had to look them up first on the university's website. What I discovered was that the 5 values that serve as the foundation for the university's mission are important values in my life as well. These 5 values are citizenship, excellence, integrity, openness, and wisdom. While my graduate studies have fostered and developed all of these 5 values, the one that specifically resonates with me is the value of wisdom. The university characterizes wisdom as the creation, preservation, and sharing of knowledge, the application of knowledge in a manner that promotes the common good, and the pursuit of lifelong learning. Now, I must tell you that I grew up in Edwardsville, and the university has been a part of my life from a very early age. I have vivid memories of my grandfather bringing me to campus as it was being constructed. Although my grandfather never had a formal education past high school, and his extensive knowledge was self-taught, he understood the benefit that the university as a center of higher learning would have for the community of Edwardsville. He fostered in my brother and me an appreciation of continual growth and learning, a value that very closely resembles the university's characterization of wisdom. Okay, not to date myself, but at the age of 6, I never imagined that 30 plus years later I would spend so much time in Building 3, today known as Alumni Hall, learning, among other more important things, that parking meters do expire, the parking attendants do carry watches, and they will tow your car if you don't pay your fines. In addition to these costly lessons, I learned that education is a continual process, one that doesn't begin at the classroom door, nor does it end with the completion of the semester. This process continues when we step out into the world and take what we have learned from school and apply it to the challenges facing our communities. As we all know, reaching graduation is no small feat. There were times that making the grade seemingly came easy. The times when we knew the answers to the professor's most challenging questions and could crack the textbook the night before an exam and the next day write a book-length essay on some obscure theory. Of course, there were other times when making the grade did not come so easily. We would study for long hours just to begin to comprehend what the professor had talked about earlier that day in class. And then there were those times we didn't do as well as we had wanted to, no matter how hard we'd studied. It's happened to all of us, including myself, and not so terribly long ago. I had registered for a seminar course that was outside of my usual scope of coursework. So being a diligent student, before the first class, I got out my notes from previous courses on the topic and studied. I stepped into that classroom feeling prepared and ready to go. Alas, after just 1 hour sitting in that class, I knew I was in serious trouble. However, I took notes and studied them later that evening, many pages of terms, concepts, and methods of analysis I had never even heard of before. By the next morning, I knew that being a single mother and working full-time, it would be crazy if I stayed in class. So I made arrangements to meet with the professor. When we met, one of the first things he said to me was that the night before in class, I had looked like a deer in the headlights of oncoming traffic. Well, at least he was honest, and he was right. That is exactly how I had felt. We didn't talk for too long about the numerous reasons I thought I surely wouldn't succeed in his class. Instead, the conversation turned to a topic from the night before: acknowledging limitations. The limitations of the available data, the limitations of the methods that we choose to use, the limitations of our research, and finally, our limitations as researchers. Okay, so I don't think that my professor was trying to teach me some big life lesson or impart some fabulous bit of knowledge that day. But what stuck with me from that conversation was not that there are limitations in our academic, personal, and professional lives, but rather that we acknowledge the limitations and find what he calls the workaround. What he meant by finding the workaround was finding the way to succeed in accomplishing our goals in spite of our apparent limitations. Okay, the other bits of advice everyone has when asked about commencement speeches are: keep it lighthearted and offer some advice. Well, if you knew me, you would know that lighthearted is not my forte, but I've been working on it. A while back, I was having a hard time staying focused and positive, also known as being lighthearted. So I did what most of us do when we don't know how to do something. I went to Google and typed in, "How do I become a positive person?" One of the first pages the search returned to me was a blog entry by Leo Babuta titled, "How to be a positive person in under 300 words." Don't worry, I'm not going to read the whole entry to you today, but I would like to paraphrase what he had to say because I think it's a good bit of parting wisdom to share. Realize it's possible instead of telling yourself why you can't. Love what you have already. Be grateful for your life, your gifts, and other people every day. Don't compare yourself to others, but be inspired by them. Accept criticism with grace, but ignore the naysayers. See bad things as a blessing in disguise, and see failure as a stepping stone to success. Imagine that you're already the person you aspire to be, then become that person in your next act. Congratulations to all of you, and the best of luck in the next stage of your life, in the years to come, and in all of the things that you choose to pursue.
Thank you, Ramona, for what I would characterize as a truly positive and lighthearted message. And really, seriously, thank you for your contributions to our university community. Thank you very much.